120 coffees an hour sounds like a lot, but I found a lady in New South Wales who's made 420 cappuccinos in 60 minutes. If she can make 420, I think it's entirely reasonable that we can make 120 with higher quality. Why do I want to make 120 coffees an hour? Good question. We can all probably recall at least one experience that we've had, whether it was in a cafe or retail business, where the service was painfully slow. We felt like we could do better than the staff that were working there. I'm sharing this method with you today in the hopes that no customer in your business is ever going to have that type of experience. There are two main components to this method. The first main component is the extraction process. This involves grinding some fresh coffee, tamping it, putting it into the coffee machine, and pressing a button to get some hot water coming through, which gives us our final espresso shots. All coffees require this espresso extraction. For us to get an optimal extraction, to get all of the good stuff out of our fresh coffee, we need to wait at least 30 seconds for this extraction to finish. We can speed this process up and it takes less time, but that is going to compromise the quality because we're not extracting all of the good stuff that we want out of our fresh coffee. The second main component here is milk. If we're making black coffee, we don't need the milk process here. But if we're making cappuccinos, lattes, or flat whites, it's vital that we perform this process as well. It involves getting a jug, filling it up with an appropriate amount of milk, putting the right amount of air into the milk as we steam it up, and get it to the right temperature before pouring and serving. For the cappuccinos in this video today, we're going to be injecting a little bit more air into them than we would for a latte to make a nice, fluffy, frothy cappuccino. This part of the process should be done while you're waiting that 30 seconds for your extraction process to finish. In most cases, you're going to be able to just finish steaming your milk right about the same time that the extraction finishes. This will, of course, depend on how quick you are to get the milk in the first place, how much milk that you're steaming, and how powerful your coffee machine is. Let's witness my method in action. Notice how when I do the extraction process that I get 2 espresso shots, 1 for each cappuccino. Therefore, I only have to do this extraction process once to get all of the espresso shots required for the 2 cappuccinos that I'm making. When I collect the milk jug has a capacity where I can steam up enough milk for 2 cappuccinos. I just need to fill up the jug with a little bit of extra milk before I start steaming. When I've finished, I equally split the milk into the 2 cappuccinos. Therefore, both cappuccinos have about the same amount of froth. The results of me making these 2 cappuccinos at the same time, using this method that I've already described to you, is that I end up making 2 cappuccinos in 63 seconds. This is 1 cappuccino every 31.5 seconds. I performed this method, getting this fast result, by only using basic equipment that any barista will have access to. Despite this, I took no shortcuts to my quality. I performed every process to the maximum, getting the highest level of quality while going as quickly as I could. If we invested in some more advanced equipment, we could make these coffees even faster. Notice in the video that my movements were fast, but they were controlled. I wasn't rushing at the expense of my quality. This comes from a strong foundation. You're going to build your own strong foundation by focusing on developing your skill in these 2 processes that I've mentioned, the extraction process and the milk process. For the extraction component, become comfortable with your grinder. Know how quickly it dispenses the coffee grinds. Fill your basket up with a consistent amount of coffee each time and get used to using a constant amount of force when you tamp. If you become familiar with how to change the grind of your grinder, you can make small adjustments to keep your extraction time as consistent as possible. For the milk component, get comfortable with pouring the right amount of milk from the container into the jug. Get used to putting the right amount of air into your milk to get the right amount of froth for the drink that you're making. As you get more skill and experience, your product knowledge is going to increase. You're going to know just the right amount of foam that you're going to need in your drink to make the drinks that you're going to be making. Concentrate on getting a very smooth texture as you do this. My own foundation comes from a background being a high volume takeaway barista, working in a high stress environment for over 10 years and surviving. Even now, I'm still making slight adjustments to my method to make coffee with higher quality and make it faster. If you pay attention to these two processes that I've already mentioned, the extraction process and the milk component as well, you're going to develop your own foundation very quickly. For instance, for myself, I make over 300 coffees a day, 5 days a week. That gives me 300 times a day that I can practice. Even if you're only making 100 coffees a day, that's practicing these methods 100 times a day. You're going to get 500 practices in a week, and before you know it, you're going to develop your own strong foundation and you're going to be making coffees very quickly. I need to elaborate on my method here so that I can keep you on the right path. The most important thing to do here as you're learning is to avoid the temptation of rushing. I would rush to get all of my espresso shots done when I was first learning, and I would constantly get into the situation where I would get lost. I would do too many espresso extractions for the drinks that I'm making, and I couldn't focus on what milk I needed to get. We need to learn to walk before we can run. Have a strong foundation that you can always return to. I normally make 4 coffees at a time throughout the whole day. However, there are unexpected interruptions to my process. It might be a question from a staff member, it might be a customer having a conversation with me. In these moments, I can't continue to focus on making 4 drinks at once. I go back to my strong foundation of just making one drink. Just make one drink, keep the output happening, keep getting customers their coffees, keep that customer flow going, and regain your balance, regain your confidence. Then you can go back up to making 2 to 4 coffees at a time. This method is all well and good, but Angus, how do you use this method for more complicated orders? The world is not a perfect place. You don't get people coming in ordering just 2 regular cappuccinos. Most customers want a personalized drink. They want a different alternative milk. They want a different temperature. They want a different type of coffee. This is why it is so important to get a good grasp on your working coffee knowledge. You need to be able to know how to make every coffee on the menu, and you need confidence when making these drinks. I offer an online training course that can help you out in this exact situation. It gives anyone the skills and knowledge required to start off with absolutely no knowledge to become an advanced barista in the shortest amount of time possible. I cover these types of scenarios in depth there. If you're interested, check out the link in the description. To go back to this question and answer it fully, you can still use the exact same method. You simply need to make sure that the correct extraction goes into the correct cup. You need to get the right jug, the right quantity of milk, and the correct milk. You steam it up to get the right amount of texture and froth in the jug, pour the drink, and it's all done. If you're unfamiliar with alternative milks, if you're unfamiliar with your coffee menu, it's going to take you a lot longer to make these types of drinks to begin with. But as you build this foundation and become more confident, this becomes almost as easy as making 2 plain cappuccinos. Speed and quality give you a massive edge over your competition. As mentioned earlier in this video, making 120 coffees an hour is very fast for a barista. Most baristas have an average skill set. They don't improve, they don't feel like they need to improve, therefore they always make their coffee at the same pace that they've always done. If you make your coffees very quickly and you maintain the highest level of quality, you're going to gain a very large, loyal, regular customer base that will walk past numerous cafes to get to you to get their morning coffee. The price of coffee doesn't differ greatly between businesses, but the quality of the drink itself can vary significantly. You could spend $5 at one business and get an average coffee, or you could walk a little bit further to another business, spend $5 and get a very high quality coffee done in half the time. Making these drinks quickly while maintaining that high quality is going to vastly enhance your reputation as a good quality, fast barista. You'll constantly be working through these coffee orders and get many opportunities to restock and relax. If you turn up to a job interview with this kind of level of skill and experience, you're likely going to be hired on the spot. Most business owners know the difference between an average barista who can make the basic menu and a highly skilled barista that's got to the next level, and you've increased your output dramatically while focusing on quality. They know the tremendous value that you can bring to their business. You're going to constantly lift their name up and build good reputation. You will elevate them over other businesses in the area. You're going to become the number one priority place to go for people wanting a coffee. So you're going to get more customers. That's going to bring more value to the business, and you're going to get more satisfied customers. Being a barista can be stressful. You can have an empty shop 1 minute, and then 30 seconds later, you can have 10 customers walk in together. One of the things that I found most stressful about being a new barista was that customers would stare at me, or that I feel like they would be staring at me while I'm trying to make their drinks. That increases the stress that I feel and the pressure, which makes me more likely to make mistakes. By using the method that I've taught you today, where we focus on the extraction process first, then we do the milk, and we get the drinks done at the same time, I was able to make this a lot more efficient. When you become efficient and you're not waiting for other parts of your process to finish, you're smoothly moving from one process to the next. This is a sign of being calm. When you're calm, you're much less likely to make mistakes. Therefore, you're going to be less stressed, and customers are going to pick up on that. Many customers go to different coffee shops and they see people get very stressed, and it's a very uncomfortable experience. If you're calm, even if your shop is full of customers and everyone's looking at the barista, but the barista is just working through their coffees one by one or two by two, getting that progress happening, getting customers back out the door. Customers become confident when they see that. They really appreciate your effort, and you are very much appreciated as a barista. I've personally coached dozens of baristas using my unique knowledge of working in a high volume, high stress environment for over a decade. Most people had limited coffee knowledge when they first started working with me. I very quickly got them a new set of skills and techniques. They constantly practiced, refined these techniques, and became high-level baristas in a very short period of time. Most courses make you familiar with the coffee machine, how to make every coffee on the menu, but that's where they stop. They don't talk about advanced cafe workflow scenarios. They don't talk about daily checklists, setup process, cleaning process, how to memorize jugs, how to deal with huge volumes of coffees. I go all the way and explain that and more. I coach a small number of students to give them that competitive edge to get a job in this industry. I'm uploading in-depth tutorials to YouTube every week. I aim to share lots of specialized knowledge that's relevant to you as a barista in this industry. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on them. I'm going to put a video up on screen now where I'll show you 3 easy factors that you can utilize to improve your latte art. I'll see you in the next video.